पल जीवन जाए रे, कर ले प्रभु का भजन, शरण प्रभु की आ जा रे। बारंबार मिले ना ये मानुष जन्म, शरण प्रभु की आ जा रे, शरण प्रभु की आ जा रे, शरण प्रभु की आ जा रे, शरण प्रभु की आ जा रे। प्रकाशित हृदय में ईश्वर भक्त के समाए, साचा रूप साचा रंग मन में।
भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। Together we'll chant Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, verses 1 to 10.
अथ पञ्चदशोऽध्यायः। श्रीभगवानुवाच ऊर्ध्वमूलमधः शाखम् अश्वत्थं प्राहुरव्ययम् छन्दांसि यस्य पर्णानि यस्तं वेद स वेदवित् अधश्चोर्ध्वं प्रसृतास्तस्य शाखाः गुणप्रवृद्धा विषयप्रवालाः अधश्च मूलान्यनुसन्ततानि कर्मानुबन्धीनि मनुष्यलोके न रूपमस्येह तथोपलभ्यते नान्तो न चादिर्न च सम्प्रतिष्ठा अश्वत्थमेनं सुविरूढमूलम् असङ्गशस्त्रेण दृढेन चित्वा ततः पदं तत्परिमार्गितव्यम् यस्मिन् गता न निवर्तन्ति भूयः तमेव चाद्यं पुरुषं प्रपद्ये यतः प्रवृत्तिः प्रसृता पुराणी निर्मानमोहाजितसङ्गदोषाः अध्यात्मनित्या विनिवृत्तकामाः द्वन्द्वैर्विमुक्ताः सुखदुःखसंज्ञैः गच्छन्त्यमूढाः पदमव्ययं तत् न तद्भासयते सूर्यः न शशाङ्को न पावकः यद्गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम परमं मम ममैवांशो जीवलोके जीवभूतः सनातनः मनःषष्ठानीन्द्रियाणि प्रकृतिस्थानि कर्षति शरीरं यदवाप्नोति यच्चाप्युत्क्रामतीश्वरः गृहीत्वैतानि संयाति वायुर्गन्धानि वाशयात् श्रोत्रं चक्षुस्पर्शनं च रसनं घ्राणमेव च अधिष्ठाय मनश्चायं विषयानुपसेवते उत्क्रामन्तं स्थितं वापि भुञ्जानं वा गुणान्वितं विमूढानानुपश्यन्ति पश्यन्ति ज्ञानचक्षुषः
The world is represented by the upside down Ashwatha tree. The main root is Brahman. The secondary root are the Vasanas, and this results in the branches, which are the actions, the activities, some of which go up, some of which go down. The sense objects are like buds. It is in their presence that our vasanas start manifesting into activities. These buds grow into branches. This is the tree of life. Now, this tree is not comprehensible. We don't see this. Na rupamasyeha na tathopalabhyate. Nanto na chadir na cha sampratishta. We don't know where is its beginning, where is its end. At best, we can see a few branches. Only when you see the root, you will understand what this tree is. From this root come the secondary roots, which are vasanas, which hold this world together. If there were no vasanas, there would be no world. But when you think of this imagery, then you know that the secondary roots come from the main root. That's understandable. That seems to give credence to the belief that vasanas were created by God. World is created by God. There is a strong belief among people that the world is created by God. And if you put it like this, people may say, see, even the Gita is saying the world is created by God. What is the relationship between the world and God is an important thing for us to understand. If you claim that God created the world, if this is your claim, then you have to get that creation is an
effect. Product of desire.
Creation is an action, right? All actions come from
Desire.
Vasanas, desires.
So what's not TDA?
So if you give creation to God, then you have given vasanas or desires to God. If you add desires to God, you make him
Human.
A being.
a being. Right? So this doesn't seem to make sense. You will have to answer. You said God created the world. You'll have to answer why. What was he? Was he bored? That means he's not complete happiness. How can he be how can a being of complete happiness be bored? Why did he create the world? No, just to play. Why does he want to play? Is he not already happy? Did he have to create games to become happy? So how are you going to explain that? And yet, you have to admit that the secondary roots come from the primary root. So how do you explain this? How do you explain the concept, this relationship between world and God? So one of the ways that Vedanta does it is that it says the world is because of God, not caused by God, but because of God. Now, how do you explain that? What is that supposed to mean? You can think of it like this. When an individual is not recognized as that, he or she can be misunderstood as something else. When a rope is not seen as a rope, you can misunderstand it as a snake, as a twig, as a crack in the ground, whatever, right? So when you see something, you don't understand it for what it is. You misunderstand it for something else. To put it briefly, is when there is non-apprehension, it results in misapprehension. If you don't see something for what it is, you will think it to be something else. Non-apprehension means not knowing it. You don't know it. Non-apprehension leads to misapprehension, leads to misunderstanding. If you don't understand correctly, you'll understand it wrongly. Right? So apprehension is the knowledge of the self. Apprehension means understanding. Apprehension is knowledge of the self. When you don't have knowledge of the self, this not knowing is called vasanas. It's known in Sanskrit as avidya, not knowing. When there is avidya, it converts itself to the misunderstandings of the waking and dream world. So apprehension, that means the self, because it exists, there is the possibility of non-apprehension. And non-apprehension leads to misapprehension. So if you were to ask, how did non-apprehension come about? You can say it is because of apprehension. Knowledge is not causing ignorance, but because that object exists, therefore you can misunderstand it. If there was no rope over there, how will you misunderstand the snake? So in that sense, the world is because of God. The world is not caused by God. Okay, there is a self. You don't know the self. And because you don't know the self, you misunderstand it as the waking and dream worlds. Is that clear? If you want to write it in one sentence, you start with self or apprehension, leads to non-apprehension, leads to misapprehensions. me see if I can do a whiteboard. Host disabled participant whiteboard. Host, can you please enable only one participant whiteboarding? Omkar, can you do that?
Yeah, I'm trying that.
Right. Or Omkar, you can also write. Apprehension leads to non-apprehension, leads to misapprehension.
Yeah, we had that chart. I'm trying to pull that up.
Okay.
Okay, but Janki, please continue because it might take me some time to locate that.
Okay. But after the point is gone, what is the point of being it? I'm
Okay.
really confused. So, okay, my whiteboard, give me whiteboard. I will write it. Or you write it on the whiteboard.
Yes. Yes, Janki, what do I write?
Apprehension leads to, just draw, no, on the same line. Now make a line like an arrow. Yeah. Yes, that's right. Arrow. Then we come to, yeah, just same line. That's fine. Now do non-apprehension. Same line, same line, same line, same line, same line.
Yes, but it's not happening. Oh my God. Let me first.
Okay, never mind. You just write the next word as non-apprehension and everybody else will understand that it means leads to. And then write the next word as misapprehension. Leave some space though. Okay, now everybody please imagine the arrows between that. Now under apprehension, you can write self. Okay. Then under non-apprehension, you can write vasanas. Self. Then under non-apprehension vasanas. And under misapprehension, you can put desires and actions. Now under self, put root. Under vasanas, put secondary root. And under desires and actions, put branches. Okay, these are your activities. Very good. Thank you. So is this clear now? Apprehension, that means the main root, gives rise to the secondary root, which gives rise to the branches, and all of this put together is your tree. Hope this is clear now. Now, what he is saying is, na rupamasyeha tathopalabhyate. Na anta, na adi, na sampratishta. Sampratishta is your root. You can't see the root. You can't see its adi. You can't see its beginning. Sampratishta, sorry, its foundation means its stability, its maintenance. You can't see its beginning. You can't see its end. Can you know when these branches are all going to end? You can't see any of this. You're only seeing a very small portion of it. That's what Matthew Arnold also says. Life is like an arrow shot from darkness. It flickers in the light for a bit and then it goes back into darkness. You don't know what came before, you don't know what's coming after, you just have a small, narrow band. It's like the viewable universe is such a small part of the entire spectrum. Such a small part. None of this is comprehensible. What we do comprehend is a very, very small part of everything. And then we feel, oh, I know so much. Anybody who feels I know so much has not understood the most fundamental thing. Na rupamasyeha tathopalabhyate. Na chanto na adir na cha sampratishta. You have not seen its form. You do not know its beginning, its end, its foundation. You just don't know anything. And then you claim knowledge and say, I know so much. What are you talking about? It clearly indicates you have not understood. When you claim knowledge, it clearly means you haven't understood. Because you haven't understood a fundamental thing that you cannot see the whole picture. That's what he's saying. You cannot see the whole picture. Yes, Milind?
Janki, Hariom. Janki, one question. The world is a mixture of microcosm and macrocosm, right? But Ashwastha, pimple, no? Pimple tree is compared to macrocosm. Why not microcosm?
Your first statement is not entirely right. The world is not a mixture of macrocosm and microcosm. The microcosm is part of the macrocosm, no? The individual is part of the world, isn't it? So there is the macrocosm, the whole, and from that is your derivation, which is the microcosm. So when he's talking about the whole, he shows us the tree, and when he's talking about the individual, he does individual things related to the individual, which we will see soon. You all are familiar with these terms, macrocosm and microcosm, right? Macrocosm means the whole, and microcosm means the individual unit. So its form is not perceived here. You don't see the whole picture. You don't see the combination of spirit and matter. Neither its end, nor origin, nor clear foundation. None of this is clear. Only a small segment is viewable. And in that very small segment is all our games, all our joys, all our sorrows, all our humanity, all our pettiness, all our greatness. All of it is in that very, very small spectrum which is within you. So what are you supposed to do? It says, Ashwathamenam suvirudhamulam. Enam ashwatham. This ashwatham. Suvirudhamulam. Along with its root, I mean from the base. Asanga shastrena drudhena chitva. Asanga shastrena. Asanga. Sanga, attachment. Asanga, non-attachment. Drudhena chitva. Having cut it off. Cut off this whole thing. Cut off the tree of life. Completely cut it. Suvirudhamulam. It's so well established. Cut the whole thing out. How do you cut it out? He's given you with the strong axe of non-attachment. What is attachment? What is the definition of attachment?
Indiscriminate flow of thought towards an object or being.
Very good. An indiscriminate flow of thoughts towards an object or being. He's saying asanga shastrena drudhena chitva, having cut it with the shastra of non-attachment. So we'll understand what is it, what is attachment? An indiscriminate flow of thought towards an object or being. So if you have to have non-attachment, what does that mean? Simply cut that thought. Just cut it. The reality of the world is only because your thoughts are there. No problem means anything to you unless your thoughts are there. The moment you fall off to sleep and your thought is cut about something, your problem has disappeared. You have no problems with reference to the toy world because your thoughts don't go there. You have no problems with reference to the teenage world because your thoughts don't go there. Where are your problems? Simply where your thoughts are. So cut the thought, the problem is gone. It's that simple. Stop thinking of it. There's no problem. The more you think about it, the bigger the problem you have. But how to stop thinking? This is the problem. So first thing you do is you just refuse to engage with things of which according to you are indiscriminate. Refuse to engage. No, I'm finding it. In many cases, you will find that it will simply disappear. Just disappear because you stop thinking about it. But in some cases, few cases, it will not disappear. Because it is suvirudha moolam. Rudha means what? Dug in, fully rooted, as it were. Suvirudha moolam. Su means shashtu. Shashtu means very well done. Sushtu. Very firmly rooted. Then what do you do now? Now you can't simply stop thinking about it. So you have to do one more thing, which is think of a higher thing. When you think of a higher thing, this is known as detachment. When your thoughts go to something higher, nobler, greater in life, and you're away from its pettiness, you are a detached human being. So he's referring here to the two great aspects of Vedanta, known as Viveka and Vairagya. For all those who ever approached Vedanta in any way, these two words will be very well known to you. Viveka and Vairagya. They're supposed to be the two wheels of progress. Viveka refers to knowledge, to correct discrimination. Vairagya refers to abstinence and higher thought. So when you're practicing Vairagya, it is abstinence. And when you have Vairagya, these are higher values. So when you have higher values, you have automatic abstinence. Means your mind won't go there. It's that simple. But to get to Vairagya, you will have to tell yourself, I will simply not think about this thing. I will not think about it. Some things are very sticky to you. And you will find that many of them just disappear like the snows of yesteryears. It's not that tough. One or two areas, yes, they will be tough. But everything else will be easy if you just make a commitment to yourself. You have to make the commitment. We don't make the commitment. And so our life is going on. I don't know if you're familiar with this thing called, what is this they call it? Odyssey path or something. Have you all heard of the Odyssey path? I think Stanford at one point had spoken. Anyone's familiar with the Odyssey path? So basically you have to assume three paths. You have to assume that if you were to do exactly what you are currently doing, in 5 years, where will you be? Okay, if you do something different from what you are currently doing in 5 years, where will you be? And the third one is, if you assume no restriction on you, you're free to do whatever you want. Then in 5 years, where do you see yourself? And then it's supposed to help you figure out what you really want to do. Just gives us a glimpse into our future life. You know, we think our life is determined by all sorts of things. And we simply don't seem to get that the sole determiner of how my life goes is me. I am doing these actions. I have these thoughts. I have these desires, and therefore I'm going to get that result. Why do I assume somebody else is involved? Yes, I am in certain situations. That is correct. The situation is there. But now what I do with that is up to me. So it's sometimes a good idea to just say, okay, if I continue doing exactly what I'm doing now, where will I be 5 years from today? If I were to change something I'm doing now, whatever change I want to do, where will I be 5 years from today? And if I want to, if I could do whatever I wanted, where do I see myself 5 years from today? There are so many people who say, oh, I want to retire. I don't want to do anything. Right. Where do you see yourself 5 years from today? There are some people who say, yeah, I guess I should do that, but I'm not really doing it. Okay, where do you see yourself 5 years from today? It gives you a reality check, because those 5 years are coming in 5 years. We seem to think that the future is some distant thing that will never come. No, it will come. Where do you see yourself? Where would you like to be? Would you like to be at the Vedanta University? Would you like to be at Harvard University? Would you like to be exactly where you are? Where do you see yourself 5 years from now? It will give you a good sense of what you really value. Just trying to put our life in some kind of system rather than being so random about it. Asanga shastrena drudhena chitra. Cut it with the acts of non-attachment. Cut what with the acts of non-attachment? All the useless waste of time things that I do. So what are the useless waste of time things that I do? That is one thing I don't need to tell you. You know fully well. Everyone knows what are the useless waste of time things we do. If you don't know it, then please ask. Then I can help. But 9 out of 10 times, people know it. Number 2, there are some things we're obsessed about, which are a waste of my time, which I cannot see. Now, if you can't see, what will you do? Therefore, have some higher vision. Yeah, you know, nowadays we are trying to do this table seminar. So I'm speaking to people. And generally, you know, we need to raise funds for the university and all that. So I speak to people, hear what all they tell me. I think it's my first, you know, these kind of things give you a real glimpse into what's happening in the world. I tell people about Vedanta, they say that's fantastic. Almost everybody says it's fantastic, this, that, and the other. But now, you know, I have so many loans. My child has to go to, I have to pay for my son's education. I have these loans. I don't have the time. And I understand. You can really see how this person is overwhelmed. He sounds overwhelmed. Very understanding. But then can one read this verse to him? If you read this verse to him, he will throw you out. Asanga shastrena dridhena chitva. With the acts of non-attachment, cut it out. Oh, you have this karma to do. No, I'm too busy. Asanga shastrena dridhena chitva. Cut out all this nonsense and get down to your karma. Get down to your bhakti. Get down to your jnana. No, I have some guests coming over for dinner tomorrow. How can I do this? Asanga shastrena dridhena chitva. Go and get this job done. No, but I'm busy at this moment. Asanga shastrena dridhena chitva. But you can't do it because what is missing here is the commitment. For most people, unfortunately, spirituality is a hobby course. They do it when they have the time. They like it. They do it. It's a hobby course. What is missing is the commitment. And he so well knows that. There's no commitment to the path. What is your commitment? Only when you have a commitment can anything happen. And he understands that. So therefore, please read the next verse. Tata padam tat parimargitavyam yasmin gatana nivartanti bhuyah tameva chadhyam purusham prapadye yata pravritti prasruta purani tata padam tat parimargitavyam yasmin gatana nivartanti bhuyah tameva chadhyam purusham prapadye yata pravritti prasruta purani. Make the commitment. Tata padam tat parimargitavyam yasmin gatana nivartanti bhuyah. Tata padam, then padam, goal, tat parimargitavyam. That should be sought. This is your commitment to the path. What is he talking about? Yasmin gatana nivartanti bhuyah. Where having gone, nobody ever returns again. Our life is nothing but a series of goings and comings. That's all it is. I go to success, I come back from success. I go to failure, I come back from failure. I go to love, I come back from love. I go to hatred, I come back from hatred. I go to knowledge, I come back from knowledge. I go to ignorance, I come back from. All my life I do this. And I do this all my life, then I die, then I am born again, I do it all over again. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jathare shayanam, punarapi again. Punarapi, choice again. Puna is again. Punarapi jananam, jananam birth, janma. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, again dying. Punarapi janani jathare shayanam, janani is mother, jathare is what, uterus. Stomach, uterus, whatever. Jathare, shayanam. Lying down again in the mother's womb. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jathare shayanam, iha samsare bahu dustare. This samsar is very, very difficult. Rupaya pare pahi murare. Oh Murari, please help me get across. Oh Murari, oh Christ, oh Allah, anybody out there, please help me get across this thing. Because it's very, very difficult. And that difficulty is caused because of
attachment.
Mahesh. The difficulty is caused because of Shilpa. The difficulty is caused because of
Vasanas.
Desire.
Shilpa Kumar, difficulty is caused because of
No goal, high goal,
Ignorance.
lack of high goal.
go close. Yeah, you're approaching it a little more.
Not committing towards the higher goal.
Very good, Bharat. What? Nobody is listening, only Bharat listens. No commitment. There's no commitment to this. This is a hobby course going on here.
Bharat is too quick, Janki ji. By the time I unmute, he's already answering.
Now you have to be what? Fastest finger, quick, whatever that is. You will also have to learn fastest finger first or something. Yes, no commitment. The hobby course, when I'm not doing something else, I'll do this. Now I have my son to look after. Now I have my husband to look after. Now I have my business to look after. Now I have my studies to look after. Now I'm doing this. Now I'm doing that. Balastavat krida saktaha. In Bala Avastha, in childhood, you're attached to Sakta, attached to Krida, games. Balastavat Krida Saktaha. Tarunastavat Taruni Saktaha. In youth, you are attracted to Taruni, to youthful pleasures. Vruddhastavat Chinta Saktaha. Vruddha Avastha me Chintagrastaha. When you're old, you're all caught up in worries and anxieties. You know how old people, they're always worried about something or the other. You know your age by knowing how many things you're worried about. The more worries, the older you are. In old age, the hobby is worries. They can worry about anything. Parame Brahmani Kopinasa. Nobody is attached to Parama Brahman. So who is going to commit? The child doesn't want to commit. The youth doesn't want to commit. The old person doesn't want to commit. Who is supposed to commit? When do you think you're going to commit? When are you going to have the time? When are you going to have the inclination? When is that commitment going to happen? Always busy, whole life long. On your deathbed, will you make a commitment? When will you make that commitment? And if you don't make the commitment, then how will your thoughts go to it? And if your thoughts don't go to it, how will you cut off the load? So busy with so many things. No time for the commitment. That's why he's saying, he told you what the process is. Simple process. Asanga shastrena drudhena chitva. Cut it with the axe, with the shastra. Shastra is a very interesting word. In Indian mythology, you will find that all these warriors have got weapons, okay, and they're referred to as Astra and Shastra. You heard this, right? Astra and Shastra. Most people would have heard these words. Now, what is the difference between an Astra and a Shastra? Shastra refers to those weapons which are held in the hand to attack. Like a knife, an axe, all these things are handheld. And astras are those which are thrown to attack, like a spear. The astras, you know, Brahmastra, you throw the Brahmastra and on somebody. So they classified their weapons as those which were handheld. Talwar, the sword, is handheld. And astras are those which are thrown. So he says, with the strong shastra, with that handheld thing, that means it's in your hand, please. It is in your hand. This weapon is in your hand. Use it. What is that weapon? Shift your thoughts from the lower to the higher. Everybody in class knows that. I don't think anyone learned this today for the first time. Did anyone learn this today for the first time? Let me see. Maybe some new person may have learned. Anybody new? Ladu Madhab Mishra. I think you're new. Did you learn it for the first time? Everybody, even if you have gone to any Vedanta class, you will know very simple. Cut off the thoughts of the lower, add the thoughts of the higher. Rajarshi. Did you learn this first time today? Nobody is saying they've learned it for the first time today. Rajesh, you're relatively new. So, did you hear it
Yes.
for the first time?
No, I did not hear it for the first time, but it was put it like the concept was known, but it is put it in a beautiful way by you.
Okay. This is the same concept. Omkar, are you saying you heard it for the first time?
Not first time, but it's slightly different. Till now, we always said replace it with higher thoughts.
Hmm.
I mean, for example, I mean, if I understood it correctly, we said don't work on cutting off anything, just work on the higher, the lower will automatically fall off. So is there a difference between the two?
Yes, of course. There is what you're saying is the effect. That's why vairagya is two things. Vairagya can mean abstinence, where you're keeping away from something. And vairagya also refers to the growth in higher value. Remember the two meanings? So when you're attempting it, then, okay, viveka means that you understand the difference between the higher and the lower. This is higher, this is lower. Okay? That's viveka. Vairagya means you're capable of leaving the lower. Now, when you're capable of leaving the lower, you're either struggling to leave the lower or you're established in the higher. Either way. When you're struggling, you will have to decide for yourself, okay, I'm not doing this. Suppose I'm spending time on social media unnecessarily, I'm wasting my time. No, I won't do this. But if I just sit there saying I won't do this, then I will do it. So I have to find myself something else to do. Something of a higher, better, nobler nature. But these are all methodologies.
Electrical guy.
Sorry? Who said something? Milind, you said something? I didn't hear what you said. These
Yeah,
are methods.
This part I understood, I mean, but like I said, I'm not still clear about the fact that all this while we were discussing about the lower automatically. So from a dinky car, when you upgrade to a motorbike, the dinky car, you don't need to throw away. It will just fall off on its own.
Correct. So that is an example of when you grow, what happens.
And this is an example of taking a
This is
conscious
both.
decision.
Yeah, conscious decision. I don't want to deal with the law. I don't want to deal with the law means I don't do what Farouk did yesterday. You were there yesterday in class? I sharing with the thing. Don't tell him, okay? All this is between you and I. Don't go and telling him all this. So I told my, it's a Parsi household, and Parsis take care of their things so well, unfortunately, that they never discard anything because everything is kept very beautiful. And so in this house, all our furniture is around 100 years old. It looks nice. It's not like it looks bad or anything. It looks nice. Most people think it's pretty, but the thing is, almost everything in this house is older than me, and now I'm so old. So the everything is approaching or has crossed 100 years, and they're beautiful wood, old nice stuff. Okay, that's fine. But we also have these ancient Godrej cupboards. I don't know, Joyce. I don't know if you understand significance of this term, Godrej cupboards. About 100 years ago, everybody who was anybody bought a Godrej cupboard. It was considered to be, Godrej is a company, is the name of a company. Okay, so everybody in this country, across, anybody who's over 50 years of age. Bhavna, you know what a Godrej cupboard is? Even Bhavna knows. See, in your house, you have a Godrej cupboard?
Yeah.
If you have
It
grandparents
was a
in your house,
necessity, Janki ji. It was a necessity.
it was a necessity. Absolutely. The whole country bought these Godrej cupboards. Now, because we are a Parsi household and Godrej is a Parsi company, you can imagine we have Godrej cupboards for sure. And they were from the first lot that was manufactured. That one Godrej cupboard is so heavy it was built for sustenance, and boy, has it sustained. It is so heavy that we have to get like these, strong men to move it if you want to clean behind the cupboard. Every Diwali is a headache, all the other furniture I can move it by myself. Now I had to go down and get 4 massive men to come and move this thing. So I told my husband that let us now, it's been long enough we have used these cupboards. Why don't we change them? Let's get new cupboards. To which he responded by saying, don't think of the lower, think of the higher. Typical, he has learned enough Vedanta just to answer all these things. And then he went his merry way because he's not interested. You know how men are, they're not interested in improving the house.
जानकी जी,
Hmm?
गुरु की विद्या गुरु को.
हाँ, तो घर की मुर्गी दाल बराबर. So, घर की मुर्गी, Joyce, I have to translate this. The घर की मुर्गी दाल बराबर means the chicken from your own farmland is as good as dal, as good as pulses, dal lentils. Okay, means even rich food from your own house is useless, basically. Useless means not considered great. So where were we? Do you remember? Omkar, where were we?
Yeah, we were discussing the difference between doing something consciously and something.
So what is the lower that you have to cut out? When you're a husband, you think anything your wife wants is the lower. It's a very simple thing. But that's not how you define lower. You have to figure out for yourself in your life what according to you is higher, what according to you is lower, and then don't deal with the lower. Like, for instance, you may think that, I don't know, somebody was telling me yesterday about how they're dealing with their parents' investments, which are all over the place, like all over the place. There's no, it's totally disorganized. So now deal with the lower means what over here? Get this thing organized for heaven's sake so that you can simplify your life. So if you say, no, I forget it, whatever it is. No, whatever it is, no, later on it is coming to you only to handle. So dealing with the lower is a very important aspect. What are you doing? When you say I'm going to switch off from it, doesn't mean you're not handling it. It means you're handling it once and for all and finishing that thing. Why are you doing it? For a higher cause. Why are you putting your investments in order? For some good reason. Right? So, asanga shastrena dridhena chitva has 2 meanings. Can anyone tell me what are the 2 meanings? Deepa, now's your chance. Quickly, before Bharat says anything.
I'll let Bharat answer this time.
Okay, let us see. Anupama, you say. Anupama? What happened? Acha, chalo, Mitali, what are the 2 ways?
Not very clear, Janki ji, but maybe cut off from the entanglement and look out for the higher.
Okay, that's one of them. Bharat, what's the second one?
We said abstinence and growth into higher values, right?
Very good. Excellent. That's why I didn't want to ask Bharat immediately. Very good. 2 things. Omkar, are you clear? Has Bharat expressed it? Are you all clear? When we are talking of Vairagya contains 2 aspects. One aspect is abstinence, one aspect is growth into higher values. When we are referring to higher values, the abstinence is automatic. When we are referring to the process of gaining the higher values. When you talk about the effect, it is automatic. When you talk about the process, then you have to say, I won't do it. I won't do it doesn't mean necessarily I won't do something. Sometimes it means I will do something, such as my investments are in a mess. It's distracting me from my main work. I'm going to simplify it. So I am not dealing with this nonsense means I'm not going to continue with this tamasic way I have. Still not clear? Oh boy. Sardev, is it clear? Can you tell us which are the two ways to understand the term abstinence, vairagya? Sardev? What happened? Okay, Deepa, is it clear to you now? What are the two ways? What, you're all cutty with me or what? Nobody wants to talk to me.
Abstinence and growth, you said?
Yes. So abstinence is when you're very good. When you're abstinence is when you're putting in the effort. Growth is the effect. Once you've achieved that, then you don't have, then abstinence becomes useless. So the combination of Viveka and Vairagya is a practice. The combination of Viveka and Vairagya is an effect. Clear? What happened to you all today? Why is everybody feeling a bit lost? All right, never mind. Then you make it. To Anupama saying. It can be a struggle to cut off stray thoughts, right? It's not easy. Yes. That is why you have to have higher thoughts.
That's why you have to make the effort, right? Janki ji, like for right now, when you asked me, I was thinking of something else, I'll be honest. So, that's something that I guess one has to work on, right?
Yes, I know. I know everybody 90% of the time is thinking of something else. That is one of my occupational hazards. That is why teachers learn to become very dramatic. They start doing.
My apologies.
No problem, Anupama. 40 years of this has inured me to all of it. But anyway, the point is clear to you, right? So it's a struggle, correct? But you take up the initial struggle and then eventually there's no struggle left because you've grown.
I understand.
And what is the struggle you have to do? There are two struggles. You have to keep your thoughts on the higher and you have to abstain from the lower. These are two, when you say struggle, these are the two things that have to be done. Now, everybody knows this, but nobody does it. Because, Omkar, nobody does it because of?
Because joy is immediate.
Mahesh, nobody does it because of?
No commitment.
No commitment.
No commitment.
Very good. Pushpalata, very good. Commitment is not there. What is in your concept of thing? 5 years from today, where do you wish to be? Have you committed to whatever it is you wish to be or not? Otherwise, your life is going to be this, whatever it is. Sorry, Prakash, I don't understand what you have written. Yes, Komal.
Yeah, my question actually got answered during the
Oh,
discussion.
okay,
Yeah, sorry, I forgot to lower the hand.
Momita, the abstinence to the lower is new. Why is abstinence to the lower new? Abstinence to the lower is the discipline you give yourself. Why do we have a schedule? Why do we have retreats? Why do we say come to come to places of work? All that is your abstinence. The effort to the higher goal is what causes vairagya. That is correct. What causes vairagya means growth to a higher thing. Is the effort to the higher goal correct? But effort requires two things, no? This is what I do, and this is what I'm not doing. Therefore, obviously.
So the effort towards not doing something is what I've not heard earlier in class. I mean, vairagya in terms of resisting a desire, that effort, I thought was not, I mean, that was not it, because I believe it was told that you cannot do that because the force is so strong. So instead of doing that, direct your effort towards actively doing something towards the higher. So the effort towards abstinence is what is.
That is a methodology.
So Janki
You're not doing, na. At the end of the day, you're still not doing it. Vedanta doesn't usually talk in the negative. But the fact of the matter is, if you are spending your time and energy doing something else, you're not doing whatever the lower was.
But then there's no effort towards not doing. Then it's like that crowding out the bad thing. Like you're doing all the positive things, therefore that automatically goes off the.
So that's the effort.
But there's no effort in that. I'm not like deliberately saying I'll not do it. There's no effort in that.
In some cases, you will be forced to. In some cases, like for instance, you have to take your son. Imagine many years ago, you were taking your child to school. Okay, at that time only your friend tells you, come, there's a very good matinee show, let's go. So you will say, no, I'll take my child to school. So you're consciously saying, no, I won't come with you to that matinee. I am taking my son to school.
Just it's like a new thing introduced here.
It's not, please don't misunderstand it as like you make a list of do's and don'ts. That's not what it's talking about. It's like your conscious decision to do X rather than Y. And therefore, rather than Y, it's not just your conscious decision to do X. Like you could have a conscious decision that I will study, like as a student, I'm going to do my class studies, a conscious decision to do that. And I will also not see a movie for the next 1 week because it will distract me from my studies. So that it's not emphasized, but it is a, I mean, if I'm studying so much, then the kind of relaxation I require is probably sports and not movies or something. I'm just making up these things.
Janki,
okay.
In the example of a alcoholic wanting to turn teetotaler, you had given this example that the first thing they have to do is to stay away from
the company,
all those conducive environments. Yeah, like the company, maybe not go to the pubs or whatever. Is that an example of this? Abstinence in the sense, I mean, you're forcing yourself
it's an
out
example of staying away from company. Abstinence is saying that I won't do certain things. Whatever. A subset of that could be I won't go to the club. But you can't say it's an example of this, it's a subset of this. Okay, Bharat, the blueprint of perfect action verse speaks clearly of non-dissipation of energy. Vairagya, lower aspects speaks of the same. Yes, correct. You don't dissipate your energies, correct. Same as assertion and negation, isn't it? Yes, Deepa, same. Thank you, both of you, because you all are both establishing that we have referred to this earlier. Okay, so that's it.
Janki, I had one question. Can I ask?
Go ahead.
Yeah. So, like we were talking about cutting off the Ashwatha tree with the aches of non-attachment. But the question is, if I am myself a part of the tree, because the Brahman is the primary root of the tree, right? Something which is a part of the tree, how can it cut itself? Like, is this a limitation of the symbolism, or is there something else to it?
In this case, cutting the tree means not thinking of it. So you can certainly not think of it, no? And is it a limitation of the example? Yeah, I guess so, because the tree won't cut itself. So that way, yes, every example can only be up to a point. But in this case, cutting it with non-attachment means, no, you don't, you're not going to think of the lower. And the which slowly means all the branches and everything. You're not thinking of that. Your thoughts are going to the primary root.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so that's it for today. Now I was thinking every Sunday maybe I should give you all